Hey guys, so I don't know how much I talked about one of the classes that I am taking this semester, um, even though it doesn't really relate to my BSN degree whatsoever. I chose to take it because I am a tribal citizen, and so I am taking an Ojibwe Anishinaabemowin language class, which is the language that my tribe speaks. And I have taken classes before that didn't kind of go in depth. Like the first few weeks of this class, we have been, this is the second week, but so far we have talked about language revitalization and the importance of teaching more people the traditional language and teaching more people about traditions and the culture itself. And it's really gotten me thinking lately, and I just want to become fluent in this language. If not for the ability to communicate with other tribal members and other people within my community, but to make my grandfather proud. I have talked about this in previous videos on my channel, but it's been quite a while since I've made a video talking about this. I think the last time I made a video talking about anything tribal related was when I was having trouble actually getting enrolled as a tribal citizen. I am now enrolled as a tribal citizen because my birth father actually passed away and his wife was not willing to cooperate at all with getting me the information. And I actually found out that I was able to get the information myself because he had passed away. I did not need any information other than like his birth certificate and his death certificate and his tribal enrollment number. So I am an enrolled tribal citizen, and I I had mentioned in previous videos that my grandfather and his siblings were all sent to the residential schools. For those of you who don't know what that is, they were sent to a residential school in the upper part of the Lower Peninsula of Michigan, in Harbor Springs, Michigan, which is where my tribe is kind of like their government headquarters are based there. Um, It was at a Catholic church. It is a Catholic church now. It was a boarding school, and a lot of people were abused, mistreated. They were told that they had to speak English, they could not speak their language. My grandfather, throughout his life, never wanted to talk about his experience, and I completely understand why. It was a very traumatic experience. He actually ran away from the school and lived in the woods for a while because he didn't want to go back, which, I mean, you can't blame him, because these kids were taken from their families and they were not allowed to do the things that any other child would want to do. When I was seeing my one therapist, she had mentioned to me how, because she grew up in that area, she had mentioned to me how, she had gone past that school many times and there were never any kids outside playing. And she always wondered why there were never any kids outside playing. And, the people in the community didn't understand exactly what was going on there. And so it was just a very negative experience for many people, and there's a lot of trauma to this day. There are people who are still alive who went through this because residential schools existed, and they closed within recent decades. So I don't really want to go into depth about all of that, because those experiences are people's personal experiences and people's personal trauma. And I don't want to share the things that happened to my grandfather that I know now. But throughout his life, he always encouraged me to learn the language. And he had gotten me like this CD-ROM back when CD-ROMs were a thing. And it had all of these different language lessons on it, and I used to play it on the computer. And I remember there was this one word, and I still remember it to this day, but I cannot remember if it was a blueberry pie or what type of pie it was. But I just remember it was like 35 letters long, and it's like the longest word in the language. And I had so much fun learning, but it's also a very hard language to learn. It is very different from any other foreign language. It's more guttural, and like the way that letters work is way different because they don't go off of the English alphabet. And pronunciation is not how it seems. Like when you look at the English pronunciation of things, the way that this pronunciation is way different. But I just remember having so much fun learning about it. And he was always so excited when I would tell him that I learned something new, or when I would say one of the words out loud. I was one of the only cousins of mine who was actually super interested. Like, I was always interested in knowing what was going on with his tribe, knowing about it, knowing whatever he would be willing to tell me. And he always got this newspaper from them every month, and I would always want to read it and know what was going on. And to say that I am now an enrolled member of that tribe because I was able to go out and do the work and find all of the information, I'm very thankful. But the reason I'm bringing this up is my class that I'm taking right now has made me think a lot about this. And one of our assignments this week is to talk about why language revitalization is important to us. And I want to be able to communicate with other tribal members. I want to be able to keep our language going. We read an article this week, or last week, I should say, that talked about in Minnesota, they had done this research, and they figure there's only like 1,000 fluent speakers of Ojibwe or Anishinaabemowin in the United States, fluent speakers. And these languages are dying out. And I think it's important to realize that we need our language. It is a part of our culture, and we need people who are going to carry that forward into the future. And I want to be one of the people who is able to carry that forward into the future. I want to be able to speak with tribal members and understand what they're saying, and have them understand what I'm saying. And there's so many reasons why language revitalization is important. And you guys might not be interested in this whatsoever, but I just have to share, like, for all of those children that got sent to those residential schools, those boarding schools, who were told that they could not speak their language, who were told that they had to assimilate to white culture, who were told that they could only speak English, they could not wear their hair long, they could not engage in traditional cultural practices. I want to be one of the tribal citizens now who is able to bring those traditions back, who is able to speak that language, keep it alive. It's very important to me. It is very personal to me. And I know that I got a lot of negativity when I posted that video initially, because people said, oh, you don't look Native, you don't look Indigenous, you don't look tribal, you're white. Actually, I'm not. I do have a tribal ID card proving otherwise. I am a tribal citizen, and both of my parents, my birth father and my mother, are both tribal. They both have identification cards and were enrolled. Well, my mother is still enrolled. Obviously, my birth father is not enrolled because he has passed away. So I just wanted to kind of share why these things are important to me. And now I have to find a way to convey this in written form, because that is my assignment for my one language lab class. The other one is a worksheet where we're talking about like the migration of the Anishinaabe tribes and different areas that they went, the teachings of the seven fires and things like that. And if you guys are curious or have any questions, I would be glad to share different information that I'm finding out. I am still in a learning process, and I don't think that I will ever stop learning because there is a lot to learn when it comes to these traditional things. But I just wanted to share that with you guys. So if you are a tribal citizen and language revitalization is important to you, I would be curious to find out if you have similar reasons to me. I think it's important that we continue to engage younger generations in our culture and teach them the things that they need to know. We're running out of elders who are able to share their stories. We're running out of people that are able to carry forward our language to future generations, and it's very important to me to be one of the people that is able to do so. So with that being said, that's all I have for today's video. Again, if you guys have any questions or comments, leave them in the comments below. If there's any topics you would like to hear me discuss on my channel in the future, let me know that as well, and I will talk to you guys next time.